In this TeamWork 5 Manager tutorial, I'm going to show you how to view and adjust your organization enterprise configuration settings. To do that, go to your top menu bar and click on TeamWork. Make sure you have your enterprise selected. You do need enterprise level permissions to do this. Then click on Organization. You should arrive at your organization settings page. To the right is your configuration column. Make sure you have Enterprise selected. First, you can decide what you want the first day of your week to be. You can choose any day of the week by clicking the arrow next to that day. Right now, my week is set on Monday. I could have chosen Sunday, Thursday, any day of the week. Then choose your leave management. If I click the arrow next to leave management, I can choose ad hoc, meaning I'm going to use the leave section of TeamWork 5 to deal with leave requests, or managed, which means I will be using the bidding section to deal with leave. I'm going to leave it on ad hoc for the leave section. Employee plans and employee plan availability currently are not active, so leave those on no. If you have forecast set up for your TeamWork 5 account, your forecast management will determine which reports you're seeing. If I click on the arrow next to forecast management, I can choose advanced, which will show me data feeds, time series, and headcount plans. Or I can choose simple, which will allow me to only see data feeds. I'm going to leave this on advanced. Next, you can decide if you want to allow a public page for locations. If I click the arrow next to public pages for locations, I can choose no, I do not want there to be a unique URL that people can access without having to log into TeamWork 5 to view the schedule. Or I can choose yes, and choose from a variety of names that will be attached to that schedule. Do I want to show my employee's actual name or their nickname? I could do their full name, their first name and last initial, or only their first name. I'll go ahead and change this to first name and last initial. Next, decide if you want to allow public pages for employees. This means your employee can create a unique URL, allowing other people to access their schedule without logging in. These people cannot make any changes, they can just see their schedule. It's a way for employees to share their schedule with their spouse or something along those lines. I'll go ahead and leave that on yes. Then decide how you want your employees to clock in. If I click the arrow next to employee clockings, I can choose between all deployed, which means my employees can clock on and off at any of the locations they work at, or only default, which will mean my employee can only clock on and off at their primary location. I'm going to leave this on all deployed. Next, decide if you want employee time approval. Do you want your employees to approve their timesheets? I'll go ahead and leave that one on yes. Do you want to enforce time error review? If there is an error on your employee's timesheet, do you want your managers to have to fix that, or are you going to allow that timesheet to be approved without fixing the error? I'm going to leave that on yes. I do want managers to fix that. Next, decide about your automatic time shift creation. If you add a new employee, do you want TeamWork 5 to automatically create a timesheet for that employee? Or do you want to manually create that timesheet? I'm going to say, yes, I want TeamWork 5 to do that for me. Then scroll down. If you're using kiosks, decide which field you want to be displayed that your employees have to fill in. If I click the arrow next to kiosk badge field, I can choose to have my employees enter their external ID, their username or ID, their badge ID, their bio ID, or their PIN. I'll go ahead and change this to username ID. If you chose the kiosk PIN, decide what type of field you want displayed. If I click the arrow next to kiosk PIN field, I can choose nothing, external ID, username ID, badge, bio ID, and PIN. I'll go ahead and leave this blank. Then you have your swapping options for your employees. Do you want to allow your employees to do a directed swap? This means they can swap a shift with another employee, and only that employee is going to see that that shift is available. If not, then all of the employees will be able to see that swap. So if you want to allow that direct employee swap, choose yes, otherwise choose no. Do you want to show open shifts on the swap board? Yes or no? If you are creating schedules at the enterprise level, you will be able to limit availability. If you are creating schedules at the location level, you will not be able to use this limit availability. If your limit availability is off or on no, employees can pick up shifts from the swap board for any hours. If your limit availability is set to business hours, your employees will only be able to pick up shifts during business hours. So if I click this arrow, I could choose business hours. I'm going to leave this on no because I do not have enterprise level scheduling set up. Next is your enterprise skills. If you leave this on no, your employees can be assigned skills through other sections other than the enterprise and can be scheduled to shifts even if they don't have enterprise level skills. If you choose yes, employees can only be scheduled to shifts that require those skills if they've been given the master skill from the enterprise level. I'm going to choose no so I can use other sections besides the enterprise to create and manage employee skills. Next, decide where you want your enterprise shift notes to be shown. If I click the arrow next to enterprise shift note, I can choose not to show a shift note. I can show the shift note on the shift itself, or on the task, or activity, or single activity. I'm going to leave this on shift note. Next, choose your custom time format. If you leave this blank, it will be the default of AM and PM. Next, you can create a clock message that will display each time your employees clock on and off. This might be a good place to remind them of something they're supposed to do when they do that. If you're happy with your changes, choose Save. A green save bar will appear under the Save button, letting you know when this information was last saved. I'll go ahead and scroll back up, and you can see all of those fields have been saved. That's how you can view and adjust your organization's enterprise configuration settings. Check out the next video to learn how to view and adjust your organization's policy configuration settings.